It's the games of the month. It's the games of the month. I'm singing a song. It's the games of the month. I wasn't expecting to be singing a song, but here we are regardless. It is the games of the month, of course, for the month of February. I don't think it's as crazy as January, which is confusing to me because usually January is really quiet and February's a bit bigger. But anyway, here we are. Matt,
February's
do you
a
have
smaller
the,
month.
the list?
There's only 28 days. It's a smaller month for January.
Oh, like that movie. When it was 28
Like
days
that.
later, yeah. Yeah, that one. You know that movie? Yeah.
That was a good
Matt,
movie.
do you have the list?
It was a good movie.
I do have the list. Here we
Yeah,
go.
it's on TV
It's not
right
as good as
now.
the
It's called
menu,
The Last
but nothing
of Us.
is. Yeah, we just want to talk about different movies that we like.
Yeah, it's now
This
the
is a
movie
gaming podcast.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go with the
Good likes
PlayStation
games anyway.
5 first, shall we? Okay, so the first game, I guess, of any note that releases next month is Deliver Us Mars on February 2, which is the sequel to the award-winning Deliver Us the Moon, which I never played, so I don't remember playing it anyway. But if
Are you
it
going to deliver us?
if it won awards, it must be good or something, right? That's how it works. So yeah, that comes out on February 2. Then it comes Alan's Game of the Year, Fashion Police Squad, because as we all know, Alan likes nothing more than fashion and then being a cop.
No, that's so true. You know what? That's what I was thinking as I was stealing that child from Afghanistan. No, that could actually be fun. That could be genuinely kind of interesting, depending on what sort of fashion we're talking about. Because if it's like high fashion, where it's like wearing a squid on your head and dancing around by going blip, then that's cool. I'm here for that. It's my understanding of the world of fashion.
Yes.
He's wearing squids.
Apparently,
Yeah.
it's like a retro first-person shooter. So I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than it has a name that caught my eye. So there you go. That comes out on February 2.
You know what? That actually, you joked and said it might be my kind of thing, but it's sounding like my kind of thing.
Then we have the game that should not be mentioned, so we'll skip past that one. Okay, next one is February 14, Labyrinth of Galleria, the Moon Society. So that is a dungeon crawler, wizardry style. It's the sequel to Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven at Dusk, which was actually pretty good because that one was like a dungeon crawler where the main mechanic was you could smash walls and kind of just walk through the map that way. Which
I like that. That's cool.
yeah, I mean, it was something you wouldn't expect because the whole point of dungeon crawlers usually is that they're kind of labyrinths and you're kind of, you're stuck on a certain path and you've got to make your way around a maze. Well, this one you could just smash your way through, and the way it still had puzzles and still had that exploration and still had the need to work your way around a kind of maze was pretty impressive with that mechanic. So I'm quite looking forward to that one. It was one of those ones that when you play it, you don't really forget it. And yeah, the new one looks good too. Also on February 14, we've got 10 Dates, which was the sequel to 5 Dates, so twice as many dates. That's an FMV game that the first one was apparently quite good. So this one is twice as good, I guess. Twice as many
It's a thing to
people.
play on Valentine's Day is to go on 10 dates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's just how you play Persona, though, to be fair.
No, I just go on one date 10 times with one character. That's usually how I do Persona.
Yes,
So
the
now we're
nurse
going to go
lady.
get coffee. God, the nurse lady was so cool.
Okay, so also on February 14, so there's a lot of February 14 stuff. The third one is Wanted Dead, which is not the most inspiring title, but it is a hybrid slasher shooter from the makers of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. So it's not a Koei Tecmo game. I think it's like a studio that split off from ex-Koei Tecmo people, but they know their action. Sorry?
No Itagaki?
I have no idea. If it is his next one.
Is that guy still alive?
Yeah, he's still around. I think he's still out there insisting. I'm thinking he's still out there insisting that that last game he made was good.
Not Devil's Third, a game that definitely was totally normal.
Forgot that game existed.
No, you didn't. Don't lie. You love
I genuinely
that game. Everyone
can't
loves that
picture
game.
what that game is. I
So
have
no,
no
it
idea.
is.
No, do you remember?
It is
No,
not
because you play as
Itagaki's
Ivan.
studio.
Is it the Wii U game where you had a tattooed guy that would
Yes.
beat people up?
Yeah,
Oh,
Ivan. But he was Russian and he played the drum set in the first cutscene and he was cool as hell.
Also, it's funny that we've reached the
Everyone's
point where
favorite.
you can say a game is made by the creators of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, and none of us have any idea who that could refer to because those have gone on for so long and changed so many hands.
So yeah, it's not. It's a new studio. It's a studio called Soleil or something. It's not Itagaki's, but you know, I'll give it a go.
That might be for the best if it's not Itagaki's, to be fair.
So moving on February 17, I can't believe this is actually already coming out because I just kind of heard its announcement and put it in the back of my mind and forgot about it. But it is coming out very soon. Wild Hearts on February 17, which is the Koei Tecmo Monster Hunter style game that EA is publishing, which looks good.
What a weird group.
Yeah, I know. That's why it was weirding me out. Like, why would Koei Tecmo work with EA on a game? But they have, and it is a Monster Hunter-like, and they did the Tukiden games previously, which were pretty good Monster Hunter-likes themselves. So
They were on the Vita, right?
On the Vita, yeah. They were good.
Yeah, they were cool.
yeah. Koei knows their
It should be
stuff with
decent.
that genre. So I'm definitely going to give that one a good run. Moving on February 21, we've got Like a Dragon Ishin, which is the Yakuza set in yesteryear.
That's cool as hell. I'm so glad that came out. Did you guys ever see, like, I feel like Matt, you probably definitely would have seen this because you're a journalist, but like when Ishin was coming out in Japan, they had like a whole bunch of articles in like PlayStation Magazine Australia being like, this is a really cool looking game. It's Yakuza, but it's in ancient Japan. And I was like, that looks cool as hell. And the fact that they're actually like adapting it now for the Western audience and like doing a proper translation, chef's kiss.
Yeah. I remember being very disappointed that they weren't going to bring that across. But obviously they need a new Yakuza game to release, so they've gone and dusted this one off. But
I forgot. So the series is officially called Like a Dragon now, isn't it?
No, there's two different
'cause it's
series.
closer
Technically, well, there's actually three. So you've got
Huh?
the Yakuza series, which is technically still its own thing. You've got Like a Dragon, which is going to be like the turn-based RPGs. And then you've got Judgment, which is
Its own thing.
its own thing as well. So they're technically three different properties, but I don't think they're looking at making any new Yakuza series games other than this one, Like a Dragon. I don't believe there's any kind of on the horizon. So effectively, the next kind of replacement will be the next the next Like a Dragon.
The next Ichiban game.
Yeah, which will be good. I'm looking forward to that whenever that happens.
I need to play 7 at some point.
You do. So
yeah, it seems really good.
On February 21, we've got Atomic Heart, which is in the Soviet Union of the future in 1955. Science reigns supreme. The world is on verge of the greatest event. You are Agent Major P3, and you will have to find out what is really lying behind the utopian dream. I'm intrigued.
Will you find out, Matt?
I'm intrigued.
It looks cool enough. It's like a bit Bioshocky and a bit like a what are those games called? Like System Shock, Bioshock, Immersive
Sims, yeah.
Yeah, a bit like that.
Who's
but
making
it's
it?
More actiony. Just some random developer.
Don't Immersive Sims cost like $30 billion to make?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they don't make any money because they're too complicated to play, and then Deathloop happens, and no one knows how to play Deathloop.
And just a few loud people on the internet are like, "This is the best game ever." No one's gonna play it.
Yeah, and that
That's
was
us.
me for a
We're the
while.
loud
Wait,
people on the
no one's
internet.
played Deathloop.
Deathloop.
What?
Deathloop's really good.
Yes, game of the year. Not really.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't say that.
it's
I
up
think it
there.
was a game that came out in that year. I wouldn't say it's the game of the year.
I mean, what year was it? Was it last year?
It's 2020.
No, it was last year.
Oh god, I've lost track of my entire existence.
So then we have moving on, we have the PlayStation VR 2 coming out. And all the launch games to go with that. That comes out at the end of February. So just running through those quickly, there's Fantavision 202X. I mean, a lot of these will be able to be played without VR as well, but Fantavision 202X, which is that kind of puzzle game about Fireworks, which is pretty good. The original was on PS2,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's been a long time since we had one of those. You can play that on the kind of PS2 classics now. I highly recommend it. It's a very nice little puzzle game. This new one will be good, I would think, given that it will benefit from the enhanced visual capabilities of the PlayStation 5. We've also got the Tale of Ongoro, which is Portal meets Shadow of the Colossus. Well, that is certainly an ambitious task. I don't know if they'll actually manage to pull that off, but if they do, that could be
I don't even
good.
visualize that.
For people who like their horrors, you've got Resident Evil Village VR mode. That's a launch thing.
That would be so cool.
Then there is Horizon Call of the Mountain. So they're doing a Horizon in VR. Yay. Kizuna AI Touch the Beat. So that's a rhythm game featuring the virtual YouTuber that started it all.
She retired.
Well, she's come out of retirement to do one
She's
dancing
back.
thing. You can never keep a good digital character down. We've got Star Wars Tales of the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition, which I guess is in VR. I don't know why, but it is. We've got Moss.
But you
and
can
Moss
learn the tales
2.
in VR.
Cities VR. That'll be a PlayStation VR 2 thing as well. It was already a PlayStation VR thing. Well, it was already a VR thing anyway. So now you can play it on your PlayStation. And a bunch of other games. Res Infinite. That's a PlayStation VR 2
Oh,
game.
great game.
Should be fun.
Hell yeah.
Chef Life. So cook stuff in VR. Yay.
Could you sound less interested?
Don't know. I must admit I haven't been paying that much. I haven't been paying that closer attention to the PlayStation VR 2 because I don't have $1,000 to throw down on a VR headset.
So what I did is I traded in my PlayStation 5 because I moved into with my partner. So I went to EB Games and I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I'm getting a PlayStation VR, and the guy's like, oh yeah, that sounds reasonable. And then he's like, wait a minute.
Can we interest you in this new thing that's coming out?
And then I don't think these are VR games, so we've got a couple more releases towards the end of the month. We've got Blood Bowl 3, which is the board game.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I like the last two, and I am looking forward to this one. It's been delayed a couple of times, so hopefully that has been to improve it rather than try and salvage it. We'll
I do have an update actually. On the topic of Warhammer games, I do have an update to say Darktide fucking sucks. Don't play it.
Yeah, they put out
That's
an
my
announcement
update for the last podcast.
they're fixing that.
It's bad. I spent more time in it and was like, oh. Play Blood
We've
Bowl
got-
instead. It's good.
We've got Octopath Traveler 2 coming out on February 24. That is no longer a Switch exclusive. That'll be on PlayStation as well. And the first one, I know we've talked about that heaps on the podcast in the past. I really enjoyed it. Other people have more mixed feelings about it, but certainly the graphics, the HD 2D visual style is great. So hopefully they can pull that one around and make it something that everybody likes. And then we finish the month with a game called Scars Above on PlayStation 5, which comes out on February 28, and it looks like it'll be a horror-ish game. I don't know. Something strange has entered Earth's orbit. It's a action third-person shooter inspired by the modern action adventure games. I think it'll be basically like more Dead Space for people.
I was just gonna say, so
done
it's
with Dead Space.
Mortal Galaxy.
Yeah,
They're really having a moment with these games.
yeah, it's
I
definitely
didn't
been a
care for it
trend.
though. I love me some skeletons in space.
Yeah, but you didn't play
Need
the
more
last
skeletons
one,
in space. What was the last one?
the terrible one that came out.
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, you didn't.
No,
play
I didn't
that.
because I was going to pre-order it and then I didn't because I valued myself too much.
Yeah, did yourself a favor there. Moving over to the
Man, you sound so upset.
moving over to the well, I was looking forward to it and it disappointed me. Moving over to the Switch, we've got Life is Strange 2 coming out on February 2. So it's already
It's
out
been
on
out for a
everything
while,
else,
right?
but not on Switch. It's on Switch now.
So what I discovered is Before the Storm is getting a remake. Why are they remaking all the Life is Strange games just in Unity or whatever the engine they now use? It's like annoying.
Well, extra money. People
Yeah.
keep buying them.
Yeah.
People buy every version of those games. They're good games, and yeah, that's what they do. Moving on. There's a lot of junk coming out on Switch, of course. Game called Shuttlecock H, which I'm sure will be Alan's favorite game.
The Shuttlecock H.
Yeah, Shuttlecock H.
No, that's
Is that a
great. No, just
badminton-themed H game?
own it.
Yeah, I don't know.
God.
I'm not going to
It's
click on
just-
it.
The Shuttlecock is just blushing.
I'm not that brave. So on Switch, Labyrinth of Galleria comes out as well, so you can play it on the go if you'd rather than the PS4 or 5. Sorry, 10 Dates is also coming out on Switch if you want your FMV games on the go. There is there's the one. This one's only coming out on Switch at least for initially, it's going to be an exclusive. Theatrhythm comes out on Switch on February 16.
That's cool.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I enjoyed the first two on the 3DS. I love the art style. I obviously like the music. This one's going to have 385 pieces of music built in.
You're not going to see me for 3 months.
and then DLC or kind of season passes on top of that. It's going to be a mammoth game. 385 songs. That's going to be close to a record.
That's a lot of songs.
That is a lot of songs.
No, the thing I like most about it is the description here says it's a rhythm game packed with 385 carefully selected music tracks. It's like you can't be that careful.
I can't wait for them to include. Yeah. That's too
The
many.
other funny thing is that the last game came out on the 3DS, and between the last game and this one, there has not been a new Final Fantasy game.
Oh, there hasn't either.
Excuse me. Origin, the greatest game of all time,
I
which is
wonder if
also
there
getting
will be
DLC
Origin
coming out
music in
soon.
there.
There probably will be some, yeah.
I wonder
Can we
if
have
Good
some
King
Limp
Mog's
Bizkit?
going to be on there.
It's definitely, it was in all of them.
Good King Mog?
Yeah.
Was it?
As
I
it
don't
should be.
remember.
It was definitely
remember.
in the second one on 3DS.
Oh, good.
It shocks me how much I've heard that song despite having never played Final Fantasy 14.
It's your favorite song, isn't it, Alan?
It's kind of really good though.
He's come back around on it.
It's so Danny Elfman. Okay, going beyond. So looking forward to that. Tales of Symphonia Remastered also launches on February 17th.
That's cool.
So yeah,
That is cool.
Good for them.
it's
Symphonia is a great game.
It's yet another remake of that. I think it's been re-released at least once before. So
It
is one of the-
Yeah,
tweet
there was a
that was
PS3
like,
HD version.
yeah,
it was on PC as well, and that was about it.
right.
It was the PS2
Gotcha.
copy though, so it doesn't run at 60. So the new one runs at 60 like the original GameCube version does.
Right.
So
There you
it'll
go.
play better.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it is one of the better regarded Tales games. So that's a nice little release to slip in there. Then we've also got Digimon World Next Order coming out on Switch on February 22. I don't know which one that is of the Digimon games. Lose track. But it's a remake or re-release. It's not an original game. Then we've got
Respect that.
Labyrinth of Zangetsu, which I don't know anything about, but the box art is pretty. You should click on it and check it out.
I don't know if
we
I
know
should
where
just
that
saying
goes
that.
from.
No, it does.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting you here. It looks all right.
No, but see, Matt, you say that. I'm still panicking.
This is actually a really good looking game. This one has this is a dungeon crawler, with a really dark art style, which is really, it does look really good. I remember seeing the announcement last year and being intrigued. And if it is the one I'm thinking of, yes, it is. It's got this kind of black and white art style, which is really cool. So that's coming out earlier than I thought. Excellent. I'll definitely be playing that. We've got Remorse, The List, coming out on February 23, which is a survival horror for Switch. So if you don't have a PlayStation, can't play Dead Space, you can play Remorse.
And then you can have remorse when you're not playing Dead Space.
Yeah. Actually, Remorse does look all right. I did click
Sure,
onto it and
I just wanted to get that nice little line.
I had a brief browse of it on the eShop, and it looks all right. Octopath Traveler 2 comes out on Switch as well. For same day, February 24. Also on February 24, we've got Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is a 4-player platforming adventure. Anything with Kirby is wholesome,
just pleasant,
and good and happy. So, yay, 4-player Kirby. That's Nintendo's big release for February, by the way. It's a quiet month for Nintendo. We've got...
Because they're like not really doing as much Switch stuff anymore, are they? Like Fire Emblem's kind of the last big one, and Tears of the Kingdom is like the big last game.
What?
Yeah, and then when we see Rhythm Heaven come out, that'll be the signal.
Yeah.
It's almost as
No.
if it's time for a new console, you know, like
Well,
with
they've got-
Metroid 4
Totally.
as the launch title.
Yeah, but they don't have any plans, so they're actually planning on ramping up production of Switches this year. So I would not
I
expect
forgot
that.
Metroid 4 the thing.
I would not expect that Nintendo has any plans to pull back on the Switch just yet. They just haven't had a direct to announce their stuff for this year, I think. So that's why it looks a bit thin on their release schedule for the remainder of the year at the moment. Finishing out the month for the Switch, we've got the sequel. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this. Void TRRLM2 bracket semicolon dash Void Terranium 2. Terrible name, impossible to pronounce.
I don't know why people make games if they're going to name their game that. Just don't. Just like
I love
just
that
file for
you-
bankruptcy.
You went when you went out of your way to actually say what the punctuation marks were for the listeners out there who are wondering what we're looking at.
Yeah, you can type it into
Because
Google.
it's impossible. No, I
but-
can't type into Google. That's the problem.
Name aside, this game will be pretty good. The first one was a better than average roguelike, traditional roguelike. So, permadeath and wandering around dungeon floors and killing dudes, turn-based combat style. Very kind of traditional but well-made roguelike. So this one I'm looking forward to for that reason, except for having to type that out every time I want to say it in a review. That's not going to be fun. But anyway, I'll play it. So that's pretty much the extent of things in February. There is quite a few games coming out. It doesn't have the kind of the big AAA game as such, but there's some decent stuff there.
It's kind of Dead Space, to be fair.
What would you pick if you had to pick one, Alan, that's coming out in February?
I mean, I probably won't play it for a while, but Ishin looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it looks really, really cool. That's a cool looking game. And going off how much I loved, like, Yakuza 0 and Song of Life, like, yeah, I'll probably play that.
Cool.
Quite
Harvard?
happily.
It's so weird. I was gonna say this is a quiet month, and then I looked through and there's like 6 JRPGs still. Like this is just the world we live in. Definitely Theatrhythm. That's the only thing I'm gonna play. I'm gonna skip every other
Theatrhythm?
game and just play Theatrhythm.
If you think about it, right? So let's say each one of those music tracks is 2 minutes long on average, right? Oops. I'm going to
Yeah,
pull
it's
out the
like
calculator because
770 minutes.
770 minutes just to play through each track once.
Yeah, which
And-
is like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And let's
then
say you
get-
fail
least.
it like 20 times on each track.
So the good thing about Theatrhythm, and I can't believe more rhythm games haven't adopted this mechanic. I don't know if Square Enix has patented it, right? If you perfect a section of a song, it counts towards your total perfect. So you don't need to grind the song over and over again. You can just learn the parts.
That's very cool.
Actually the only reason why I'm excited for it, because I feel like it's going to actually fit into my schedule. I can play like 15 minutes here and there and still make progress instead of just sitting down and playing only one song for 2 hours like some other games.
Yeah. But you're still going to have to play it for like 200 hours, Harvard.
Oh, absolutely. I have 300 something hours in the 3DS one,
But
and that one has less
he's not being
songs.
forced to.
Well, you
Am I
kind of
not, though?
do. You feel obligated to, Alan. It's the thing. You don't have a choice. The game tells you. It sounds and says you're going to have to play it all.
Yeah,
Every
it's
single
like when you
track.
have to
And
play
then
Good King Mog at the end of the podcast. It's not you choosing to do that.
Oh, but
The
it
song
is.
chooses you, Alan.
That's the tough game.
Trent, pick one.
I'm going to go with I'm going to play Horizon because I bought the Horizon VR demo, VR kit expansion pack thing. So I'm going to either really hate Horizon or really get into Horizon.
Is that a true Horizon game? Like a walk around the open world and fight on dinosaur dragons or whatever?
No idea. It's a Sony bundling game, so it's probably not.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like the Link's crossbow training of the Horizon Zero Dawn world.
Oh hell
Bro,
yeah! Link's crossbow training was
Link's
cool as hell.
crossbow training was so good, bro.
That's what I mean, though.
Everyone likes that game.
I'd play a Switch remake of that.
I still think it's criminal that they've not released Time Crisis on the Switch, because I
Which
would
one
buy
is
that
Time
in a
Crisis?
heartbeat. Time Crisis is
No.
the one
Time
that's
Crisis,
like,
the rails shooter.
yeah,
The Switch
They should do
hardware
that.
does not work with the railgun things, as I discovered when I played the House of the Dead remake. It does not.
I think that was just a bad
I
game,
heard
Matt.
that was awful.
It was
There's a
terrible.
Yeah,
good
it might have
railgun
also
on
just been a bad
Switch.
game.
There's a game called Assault Chain Gun something. It's quite a good railgun on our Switch.
Did you guys ever play that pirate one that was on the Wii? It was like Bandai Namco like Time Crisis one as well, but it was pirate themed with like cannons and stuff. It was cool as hell.
It does sound cool as hell.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It was like Dreadnought something. Dreadnought gun. It's exactly that.
Exactly that.
Now you're going pretty obscure there. I have no idea what you're
Yeah,
talking about, Alan.
No, I'm gonna look this up. Anyway, keep going.
Oh yeah.
Matt,
I
what are you
think
gonna play
my
this month? What are you excited
my
for?
my pick of the month will probably be Wild Hearts, I reckon. Which is weird that I'm saying I want to play an EA published game, but that is how the chips have fallen. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because Koei Tecmo does do a good job with Monster Hunter type things, and I'm hoping that the money that EA would have thrown into it will result in decent quality production values or something. But yeah, I'll play that.
And when you finish playing Wild Hearts, you can play Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yeah.
So the game, by the way, was called Dead Storm Pirates, which
No
is
one bought
so
that.
generic. No one bought that. Not even
No
me.
one's going to
I didn't
EV
even play
Games
it.
and going, I want to buy Dead Storm Pirates.
Yeah, well, maybe there was one person at least.
It sounds like the bad game which they would like, tell kids to play. It's like, you gotta play Dead Storm Pirates. It's like the latest game everyone's playing. Go buy it. He's like, get your mum to like pre-order it.
It does sound a little bit like a Simpsons game they made up. It's a Lee Carmelo putting challenge of light gun games.